Hey, Laura Harris here. We are going to talk about confidence today. It's one of my favorite topics. Something I get asked a lot is how did you become, or how are you so freaking confident? So, I have a few tips I want to share with you of what I've learned along the way and how I got here because I was not like this several years ago. I probably put on a good face, but I was really, really insecure behind closed doors. So, today I'm not like that. I am very confident. I know what I bring to the table, and I want to share with you what I've learned to get here. So, the first thing is, I already kind of alluded to it, knowing what you bring to the table. I think there is, especially in the entrepreneurial and the business world, there is a lot of value in knowing your weaknesses and what you need to work on. However, there is still a lot of things that you're really good at. And we can't lose sight of those because we're always so hyper focused and almost obsessed with working on things that we're not good at. So, whether it's journaling or meditation, visualization, having some type of a practice where you are actually putting into words or putting on paper all of the things that you excel at, or all of the things that make you great, or even making a list of like all the things that you've accomplished in your life or that you've overcome to get where you are. I think if we don't have that intentional time set aside to kind of like brag on ourselves and like really bring it back to reality, it's easy to forget a lot of those things because we just get busy again, focusing on things that we need to work on. So, having that intentional time to actually focus on your strengths, find ways to express them creatively, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life, and like really live in your strengths once you recognize what those are. So that's the first tip. The next tip that I have for you is to watch the language that you use about yourself. I am a really big proponent of being cautious of not just the words in our head, but the words that come out of our mouth. Something that I am very aware of and try to kind of catch with other people. And if you know me, you know I do this, is how often we say, I'm sorry, especially as women. I feel that we always are apologizing for shit that we shouldn't be apologizing for. But it's just a habit, right? And like we think we're inconsiderate if we're not apologizing all the time or that we're being rude. And what can be detrimental about that is that I am is the most powerful statement you can make. That's why I don't feel in alignment with AA, because the first thing you do is stand up and say, hi, my name's Laura and I am an alcoholic. Like, whoo, what an emotional state to start a healing process in. That's a different video. But when you're saying, I am sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, over and over and over again. And if you're one of these people that's like your thing, you probably say it like 20 to 30 times a day if you actually sat down and counted. And so that adds up. And just being aware of those things that we say about ourselves, because subconsciously, like we're programming, you're not sorry, you're not a sorry person, or I failed, or I messed up. Well, you're not a failure. You're not a mistake. You're not a disaster. You can say, okay, I didn't get the results here that I wanted. What can I learn from this? And just reframing the situation into kinder language to yourself. And even in the apologetic situation, if I am like deeply sorry for something, I will say that I apologize. I apologize that my actions weren't in alignment with A, B, and C that I should have brought to the situation. And if it's something where I don't really need to apologize, but it's just like the knee-jerk reaction, I turn it into a thank you. This is a tip I learned a long time ago and have started to implement it. It's kind of like replacing but with and. Well, it's replacing I'm sorry with thank you and with gratitude. So if somebody, listens to you speak about a situation, you're emotional and you're like crying, let's say, for example, instead of saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sad, and you have to listen to this, but thank you for being such a good friend and providing space for me to speak about my feelings where it felt safe and that you were actually listening and seeing me and hearing me. because then we're not beating ourselves up and we're also paying a compliment to the other person. So it's a win-win. So be very aware of the words that you're using to describe yourself in certain situations. And I'm sorry is one that I'm really passionate about, but we don't need to beat ourselves up. There's no reason for that. So the I am statements, very important how you're subconsciously programming yourself and building or tearing down your confidence. And number 3, because I love to give tips in groups of 3 because that makes sense in my head, but doing hard things. I try to do something hard or new or different or that makes me kind of squirmy every day. So some days that is jumping out of a plane. Other days it is sending a message on Instagram that I've been putting off. So it doesn't have to be big scale. It's more of the principle of practicing doing hard things and building that trust with yourself that you can do things even if they're hard. Like the difficulty and the fear, it doesn't have to stop you. And I've experienced that in my own personal life. Obviously, getting sober was a big one of those. I truly feel if I can be sober for 4 years, I can do anything. And you'll develop this confidence through basically proving yourself right over and over again. That, yes, I can do that and nobody's going to die. It's going to be fine. I'll be uncomfortable for like a second and then I'll get over it and do it. And then I'll be able to move forward in the well, if I can do that, why can't I do that? And if I can do that, then I can do that. And it builds on itself. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable and continue to do hard things, even if it's very small things, every single day. Make that your lifestyle of expanding and getting out of your comfort zone and trusting yourself enough to know that you can do it. And even if you don't, having the perspective of, well, I didn't fail. Again, we're going to watch that language. I didn't fail. I learned something and I tried something new. You can frame it in a way that no matter what the outcome, it is building you up, no matter what the outcome. So that's my last tip on building confidence, holding that confidence, is to be doing hard things and trying hard things and building that level of trust with yourself that no matter what, it's going to be okay. So I hope that this was helpful. I wanted it to be nothing superficial because I will tell you, confidence comes from within. It doesn't come from doing all this shit on the outside. Can that help? Yeah, sure. I mean, you might feel better about yourself walking into a room if you look a certain way, but at the end of the day, confidence is going to come from within. And these are things that you can use to just have some additional tools in your tool belt to start to build that up. So I hope you find value in this, and I will talk to y'all soon.